If it ain't a podcast.
Man, refuse to look for work.
All right, we back, and we just saw Under the Silver Lake. Thoughts?
Oh man, is this the podcast? Is this
right
it?
here? We it.
Oh man, I got a lot of thoughts, man. I think the overarching thought is it kind of, I'm not saying it's like a majorly deep statement on kind of the paranoia of people, you know, kind of out here on the West Coast in general.
For sure.
I tell people this all the time. I might have even told you this before. It's weird being out here because the seasons don't change. And it's almost like there's not a passage of time. And I personally think that drives people a little bit crazy sometimes.
That's real.
That's why you got people from the Midwest, you know, kind of the center of the country, and we're kind of grounded, we're more normal. But when you're out here and you can't feel time passing like in a natural way like that.
A year goes by in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And I think you kind of get some weird results from people out of that. And this movie, obviously, you know, being based in the LA area, kind of spoke a bit about that and kind of, I guess, the culture of like, I want to call it the main character a paranoid schizophrenic.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it seemed like he was getting to the bottom of it.
He was finding something. It's hard to tell how much of that
Was
actually,
really?
yeah. It's hard to tell how much of that actually happened.
Because it felt like it was almost like a lot of it was a metaphor for him trying to get over that relationship.
Exactly. And yeah, that's not even something I considered. They touched on that briefly. There's a lot of loose ends there.
A lot of loose ends.
I feel like you have to tie in as a person. Just, you know, in your own adventure in life, you have to tie up those loose ends.
Yeah, I feel like it was trying to say something like on a deeper level.
Yeah,
for
sure. For sure.
All right, I got to talk about the cinematography. There was some beautiful shots in there. I like how they were doing the car. When he would be like driving, or like that hallway, or that shot of the library was like the handheld, and they like ran through the aisles of books up to him.
Yeah.
Like,
I think my favorite shot, the one that stood out the most to me, they had a close up on the comic book illustrator. He was sitting in a chair, and then he got up and ran to the kitchen and grabbed something in the background. Yeah. You can see all of that in one shot. Then he comes back into the close up. Like, you know, not like a crazy elaborate shot or anything like that, but personally for me, I really loved it. But it was well shot all around.
All around.
I don't know, very well shot.
Even when my guy was like climbing out the cave and stuff, like all those just the little things.
It's a great shot. Anything where you have to look through something to see the character, like you got to look through glass, or you got to look through like there's some kind of barrier to reach them. Those are all very interesting shots, of course. That was amazing.
Yeah, they snapped with some close-ups though.
They snapped with the close-ups. They definitely snapped with the close-ups.
I'm gonna say Andrew Garfield. It's like he's an actor who I feel like I liked, but he wasn't somebody who I felt was like, oh dang, he's in the movie, I'm gonna go see it. But I feel like he's becoming one of those actors now. Where it's oh, okay, I'll go check this out. Are he in it?
Yeah, at this point, like, I'll admit, I see his face sometimes and I get a little bit annoyed with it. That being said, I did not hate his Spider-Man like a lot of people hated it. I think he made a decent Spider-Man.
I think he did too.
But yeah, he's starting to become one of those actors where it's like, I will seek out his movies and, you know, see what he's doing. It was a great performance in this. Completely different from the Spider-Man performance.
Completely different.
Only similarities was, yes, he was awkward.
And doing a whole lot of running. I feel like every other shot was him doing some running somewhere in the woods, or he running in somebody's house, he running the windows. Niggas literally breaking into everything.
Breaking, entering, all over the place.
No rules out here.
No rules, no windows were safe.
Jumping over walls.
If you had a window, he was in your place.
Why did I got a screwdriver on deck?
How many he Tommy Pickles it. He was Tommy Pickles in his way into places, man. Oh man.
honestly, the whole cast was snapping. Like, I don't think like one person let me down.
Nah,
all the characters were going, even just like the people there for a second.
Yeah, everybody did what they were supposed to do.
And honestly, that like there was kind of a reframe with that whole girlfriend thing. I feel like it made me look at everything else I had just saw and be like, oh, hold up, was this trying to say something else?
Yeah. It kind of forced you to look back at this character a little bit more.
Especially like with the ad that kept popping up, and you never really knew what that clear eyes thing was until it was like, boom, now that's his ex.
Yeah.
And he's not doing too hot, and she's getting married.
Yeah. That was heavy. And he definitely was not doing hot.
And then it said, what happened with the homeless king? I feel like that's what it was when he was taking the chains off. Like he was taking the weight off of himself by just admitting all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure.
Also, I was thinking about the dog killer. Like, was the dog killer him, or what was the dog killer? That was like never really explained.
You know, I want to say it was him. I really do want to say it was him. But you know what? I feel like it was him.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like it was him.
Bad.
Because that thought did pass my mind. But I was like, I haven't seen him kill a single dog.
But we did see him bust my dude's head. I don't know if that was real or what.
I was like, he killed somebody. And I'm like, if he can kill somebody.
And they said that if you could kill him. Yep. If you could kill a dog, you'll kill a human.
Yeah.
He said, I don't think that's true.
Like, yeah. Oh, snap. He did say that. Oh. There's so much. And this is kind of one of those movies where I can see myself looking into it, like doing some research.
Yeah.
Reading up theory. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Decoded.
Yeah. It didn't like hand everything to you.
At all. And you know, the funny thing is I felt like maybe it was handing everything to me the whole time. You just couldn't pay
Maybe I'm a dummy.
You were just looking at it a certain way, but it was trying to say something else.
Yeah. I mean, it's an A24 movie.
Yeah. Say less.
It is all of it. Definitely.
Very artistic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you said you did some other movie, It Follows.
Yeah, the director, his film directly before this one was It Follows, which feels completely different from this.
Hey, that's great.
It Follows is a horror movie. Very psychological horror, but it's a sign of a good director to kind of be able to switch gears and do something completely different like this.
Yeah, versatility.
Yeah.
Versatility. I mean, this was kind of a psychological thriller a little bit too.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Yeah. I do see some similarities. You know, like, I don't know if I've seen anything else by this director. I honestly don't. I couldn't tell you his name right now. But
it'd be like that.
Watching both of those movies, I can see how the same guy directed both of them. And if I saw It Follows again, like tomorrow, I'd probably see that even more so. Like, I saw It Follows 9 years ago now.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's been a while since I've seen that, but yeah, I'm this is kind of one of those guys where I'm like, I'd go see more of his movies.
For sure.
Just to,
For sure, props.
Yeah, get an idea of his work. And
it was written by the owl. Written by the owl, bro.
Yeah.
They always watching, you know. Even that, like, what happened with the owl? She popped in the crib, and then he scared her. She left.
Oh boy had a gun.
And it's like I couldn't tell if he was tripping or if it was really happening, or like.
Yeah.
And for 1 second, I thought he was gonna kill himself. Like, oh, dude, you know, he saw the owl, and then I was like, did he commit suicide? And Andrew Garfield went on the same path. He finna do it too. Like, it was. There's a lot happening.
I never thought he was gonna kill himself. I didn't think that, but I can see why somebody would think that.
That gun a little bit too handy all the time.
Yeah. It didn't cross my mind at all, though, for whatever reason. But I can definitely see why it would cross.
Because he had to find his girl.
Especially once he found that gun, you know.
Running that thing.
He didn't end up shooting anybody.
He legit did. He just kept carrying it and aiming at people.
Yeah, he shown himself to be relatively violent, but he didn't shoot anybody. That's one thing he didn't do. He maybe, and that's kind of getting us back to the what actually happened in that movie.
But what actually
Did
happened?
he kill anyone?
It's like were those like fantasies or dreams sometimes? Like I couldn't tell reality because we saw so many of those dream sequences.
Yeah. I do think he was a dog killer. That's what I'm getting to now. I think he was a dog killer. I don't think he killed anybody.
Okay. Like that was a hallucination when he just started busting in my guy's head, the piano player or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And like the dreams were probably just him actually killing a dog. You know what I mean? Like you would have those dreams and then wake up in the morning.
Yeah. Well, that one time he woke up, his hand was like...
Oh, right. Had the stuff on it.
Well, was that the same night, though?
That was the night he had the dream about the girl that he liked was eating out the dude's stomach. And then he woke up and he had the blood on his hand.
Yeah.
That was wild, yeah.
Yeah, it was a long night. The dogs in the back of this bumper.
That movie was fire. It was a little bit long on length, I'll say, like, but I never felt like I wanted the adventure to be over.
Yeah.
Like, every time they just introduced a new twist, I was like, uh-oh, where we going now?
Yeah, it didn't feel like stretched or anything like that.
Yeah, I was, not to talk about another movie, but Avatar was like a long movie that felt long, and this was like a long movie that felt relatively short.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the twists and turns were still keeping you on the edge, and you too wanted to find out kind of what happened to old girl.
Yeah. And I'm actually surprised he found out what happened.
Yeah. It was kind of satisfying too, because it's like she is dead though. You know, you got to talk to her on the way out. I like the cult thing too. I don't know why that hit for me.
Interesting.
Everything you love in this world is meaningless.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna die actually.
I thought he was gonna go in there with them though. Like,
I thought he was gonna just pick up everybody. Like, oh, I didn't know there was all these people coming.
Yeah,
type stuff. You know, throw them in the trunk type stuff.
So they're buried in concrete. What? So, yeah, all his organs that he doesn't need to live with.
Yeah.
Like, dog,
Bro probably lost 20 pounds before going down there.
Not to mention he just left his wife and like 5 kids behind.
Man,
let me post up in a 60s type bunker. Oh, Lord have mercy. So that's what he went into when he went down there the first time, was their bunker.
Was it theirs?
Or was, I don't know.
No, because that was after she disappeared. It was their
the
people he met
yep.
bunkers, probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's hilarious to me. Because... So who was giving a musician the music? Who's hiring him? Who's doing it?
So many questions.
It was a lot.
Questions.
And it's like, I'm sure there was artistic decision behind all of it. But it does seem like things were just happening. Like it was touching on obviously conspiracy theorists.
Heavy touch on the conspiracy theorists, especially like about the industry.
Oh man.
My guy who wrote every song he was easily my favorite character for the simple fact that like it's like he had no remorse. Like
no.
Yes.
He was laughing at him.
Yeah, you thought it was yours, it was mine. He just kept laughing. And it would just cut back to Andrew Garfield's face like he was about to cry or something.
He started shooting. He ain't even had to start shooting at him. He did not have to do that.
Yeah, he did though. He knew it was a threat. He knew somebody was coming for him.
He wasn't no threat.
I mean, he did possibly bash his skull in.
I don't think that was a real one. Because keep in mind, when they cut from that, he was at home, right?
Hey, so he could have killed him then, just like the dogs.
He could have. I don't think he killed nobody.
Yeah, I don't think he killed him though. Only because it was just so much. Like when it was. It was like a melon with juice inside of it. You just hit it with a guitar.
Like the end of a Tarantino movie.
Yes.
That's what that felt like.
No. All right, rate it out of 10. Out of 10, rate it.
Huh. That's a tough one. I'll give it an 8. I feel like I can give it an 8. I feel most people would give it a relatively low score.
I was going to give it a 9. That's crazy. Yeah, that was fire. That was fire. It was like a different kind of movie. I feel like you usually get your blockbusters and, you know, your murder mysteries and all these generic kinds of films, and that was just a different kind of film. Even the fact that...
And you get points from me just for that alone.
Yeah.
You get an original story.
Legit.
Like reboots and sequels and spin-offs type, you know?
Like, and I've seen a lot of Hollywood movies lately, and that felt very different than all the other Hollywood movies.
It felt like... Well, obviously the budget wasn't huge or anything like that.
It's better that way.
And that benefited it a lot.
For sure.
Kind of forces you to work with what you have, which, you know, is the neighborhood. That's it.
And they did it.
And they did it. They did a pretty good job with it. And they kept it interesting.
They kept it interesting the whole time. Well, yeah, that was Under the Silver Lake. Go check it out. We out.